Hi everyone! Welcome to another episode of GTV. And today, isa na naman pong startup founder ang kakausapin natin. No? So, for this particular episode, we will be kakamustahin natin ang agricultural industry naman. So, I know nothing about this industry, no, because talagang more of fintech kami and GovTech. But I have here with me my good friend Henry Season, who is one of the founders of Agro-Digital PH. So, hi Henry, how are you?
Thanks, Arvel. Hello. Good evening, everyone.
Yes, ayan.
Yeah.
So, Henry, maybe before we start, can you tell them a bit more about yourself and a little bit about your startup also?
Okay. Yeah. So Henry Season from Agro-Digital PH. I am actually I'm an IT professional for almost 26 years. No.
Wow,
Yes.
tagal. Okay.
Yes. So that's the industry that I've been thriving in. So with my last stint, with a large multinational firm, largest BPO, I would think here in the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
No. I retired March 15 of this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
Congratulations.
exactly. Right. To focus on our startup and then to
Yes.
focus really on agriculture. No, so 25 years in IT or 26, 27 years in IT and then another 10 years in agriculture. So I
Yeah.
started my agri journey 2008. No,
Okay.
starting with orchids of all things.
Oh, wow.
Orchids, exactly. Yeah. I thought it was a lucrative trade during the time because orchids they do have a premium in the market. It's a luxury item.
Okay.
Kaya lang, orchids usually have a gestation of about 2 to 3 years and I ran out of patience.
Ganun pala yun. Okay.
Oo, tagal niya, di ba? So, the corporate guy that I am, sabi
Yeah.
ko, I needed something else to do because I couldn't just build stock and wait. So, sabi ko,
True.
sige, let me go and into organic farming. No? Um, siguro it was also a part of my mid-year crisis, well, my midlife crisis actually.
Mm-mm.
No? Like I was thinking, ano
Trying
ba
to
yung
figure out.
try to figure out, di ba? So, I used to be a photographer as well, no?
Mm-mm.
On weekends, photographer on weekends, and then like the usual IT dude who basically played PlayStation games. So
Yes.
yeah, exactly, no. And then one odd afternoon, I asked myself, what have you contributed to society? So, syempre,
Mm-mm.
no. After a week of just mulling about, sabi ko, sige, I'll do farming kasi mahirap gawin yan. And I think it will be a good idea to start in agri, no. That was way 2008, no.
Grabe ang layo,
Ang
Henry.
layo.
Like
Ang layo
IT,
na talaga.
playing
Kasi,
games, and tapos
yeah,
biglang orchids and
orchids, exactly.
planting.
Planting, exactly, no. So
Wow,
ayun.
okay.
Oo. So it was a long journey as well, no. So from
Mm.
2011 I started so from 2008 2011 was orchids.
Mm-mm.
2011 I started my integrated organic agri journey, no, starting off with chickens, no. So I had about 150 in that batch, 26
Uh-huh.
survived.
Oh,
Talagang totally no clue, 'di ba? So they were my heroes, no. 'Di ba? Sila
good.
yung talagang test
Uh-huh.
batch. And then syempre from there naman it improved na naman ano. So we do
Mm-mm.
chickens at the farm, we have Peking ducks as well. So if there ang first few customers namin during the time was cafes in Baguio who offer Peking ducks.
Taga
No, so
Baguio ka ba? Or where
eh,
are you now?
I'm based in Calabarzon in Batangas, no.
Ah, okay.
Oo. Pero
Alright.
yung ducks namin nakakaabot way 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 there into sa Baguio, no.
Galing, okay.
Oo. So
Oo.
it's a famous cafe actually. Magaganda yung
Uh-huh.
mga clients namin actually. It's a famous cafe there. No.
Okay.
Tapos apart from ducks, then we ventured into pigs, no. And then ayan, so from the pigs, nag-vegetables na. So naging circular na yung farm namin.
Ang
Um,
galing.
oo. So, when we started, gusto lang talaga namin organic agriculture. So we said, we want to put safe food and nutritious food on the table of every Filipino. No,
Mm,
so yun yung, kumbaga, that's where our actions revolved in.
mm,
However, when we started expanding our farms, we discovered that there are actually economic activity that's built around the farm. So, we bring in workers, the workers needed to eat. Then an enterprising neighbor would say, sige, ako na magluto. Then all of a sudden, there's a cafeteria already. Then later on, meron ng bakery. So
oh.
sabi namin, it's a good idea, no? If you bring a farm and well, at least some resemblance of buyers, then it actually spurs economic activity in the community, in the barangay. So in around 2016, sabi namin, sige, let's build communities one farm at a time. No, so we ventured into farm management naman, and that's where the current startup is currently parked. No, it's actually a farm management firm, wherein
Okay.
we get we borrow the money of OFWs, or let's say meron yung mga gusto mag-invest to farming, and then we help them. No, para siyang actually para siyang outsourcing, similar to my IT background. Mga
Oo.
consultants ng agri yung dinideploy namin on the farms, and then we help them build their production, and then sometimes we have arrangements with them to actually buy their produce as well, para lang tumakbo yung tumakbo yung
Good.
financial.
Oo.
And then ayan, sabi namin, so I was actually part of learning sites kasi nung we're a learning site of the Department of Agriculture, the ATI, no, of
Okay.
Calabarzon. And then we're also tested a farm school, no. Kaya lang, because I was actually I do have my daytime job in IT. Hindi ako masyado nakakapag-focus doon sa training. And then, when I started my agri journey, sabi ko, I will never go into IT ever. No? Nakakatawa yan. Eh. I find myself eating my words kasi sabi ko, ano ba yung advantage ko? What's my competitive advantage against everybody else in my peers, di ba? Sabi ko, well, an IT guy, yan. Ayan na, di ba? So, sabi namin, anong problema ng farmers? So, ayan na ngayon. No? Sabi namin, we wanted farmers to basically have a leg up in terms of dealing with middlemen, di ba?
Oo.
Bad prices and ganyan. So sabi namin, hindi lang dapat farms yung tinatayo namin. We should be helping out farmers. So doon nag-start yung ng journey namin sa AgroDigital PH. It was really more of coming up with digital solutions to help farmers meet the market directly. Kasi mga farmers natin, parating middleman, parating may intermediary. They don't know what to plant. Usually, yung sinasabi lang ng middleman, yun na tinatanong nila. Which is basically handicap na yan, no?
Yeah.
And then, tapos kapag meron silang client, silang lang mag-isa. Kasi yung farmers natin, hindi nakikipag-usap yan sa isa't isa. So they usually operate by themselves. And the thing is, if I have a client and then naubusan ako ng stock for a particular good that they actually buy, then they lose a customer. Kasi dapat continuous yan. Otherwise, they look for other suppliers. So sabi namin, dapat farmers should try talking to each other in terms of what they wanted to plant, etc. No? And then from there, ay nga, ang dami nga kasi middlemen in between. No? Middlemen, don't get me wrong, middlemen and intermediaries have their place in the sun. But, pagka 3 layers na yan, or even, so Calabarzon, it's 3 layers. So,
wow, umaabot ng 3 layers.
3 layers. So, 3 margin yan.
Oo.
No? So, from farmer to middleman, no? So, ba example, sa Tagaytay, di ba, you have a mahogany market there, right? So what happens is, yung mga taga-Alfonso magbebenta sa mahogany market. So sabihin ng mahogany market ng mga retailers, mahal yan. So what they'll end up is actually bring it to Balintawak. Di ba?
Oh, okay.
So, pagkatapos, enterprising guys there would say, mura sa Balintawak. So dadalhin nila yung goods that were delivered by the guys from Alfonso to Balintawak. To Tagaytay.
So ganon. Okay.
So, three layers yan, 3 or 4, di ba? When you talk about Cordillera vegetables, this is your highland veggies, no? As much as 8 layers.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know.
Kasi pati yung nagbababa ng gulay from the farm at magsasakay.
Isang layer na yun.
May layer siya. Kahit piso yan, no? 1 peso per kilo, di ba? So it all adds up, no? So this year, was it last year? Basta sometime back, they're selling cabbage there sa Cordillera at 2 pesos. No? Pero pagdating sa Balintawak,
2 pesos?
2 pesos. Kasi pag nagtanim sila doon, as in talagang they can feed the country.
Kasi
ibang klase talaga. Sobra talagang madami. No? I mean, it's mind-boggling. Even in our capacity of trying to meet the demand, no? I mean, matching them with the demand, yung mga producers.
Yes.
Nalulula ako sa volume of food that they can produce.
Wow.
Tapos sabay kasi. So, yun rin, di ba? Walang nakikipag-usap. So, sabi, magka-cabbage ako today. So, lahat sila cabbage na. So, ibig sabihin, isang barangay, 2 barangay, cabbage yan. So, sabay mag-aangkat, bababa sila. So, obviously, the prices really go down without, people looking at how they plan yung kanilang cropping cycles.
Kasi wala ding plano, hindi nag-uusap.
Hindi rin nag-uusap, exactly. That's the reason why, for AgroDigital, we work with organized farmers. Kasi,
it.
Although gusto namin tulungan yung individual farmers, the strength of the small landholder farmer is really in connecting them with each other. No?
Yeah.
Talagang yung organization. Kasi pag sinabi yan, oh, ako muna magtatanim ng kamatis. Ikaw, delay mo by 2 weeks. No?
Got.
Nakakatawa yan eh. Oo, di ba? Kasi ito, like May of this year, late May, 5 pesos ang kilo ng kamatis. No? So
Mm-mm.
this is bad, no? This is bad pricing. After 3 weeks, it was 35 pesos.
Wow.
Di
Okay.
ba? Anong ibig sabihin nun, di ba? Kung half of those people who planted, di ba?
Mm-mm.
During the time na nag-harvest of 5 pesos, nag-move siya ng 2 weeks. The
Sana
prices
30.
would have been
Yeah.
stable at maybe about 20 pesos.
Yeah, you're right.
Which is actually a good no, which is actually a good price, 20-25 pesos for
Yeah.
tomatoes. No? Okay na yun. Um, prices in the Philippines yung of vegetables are so expensive. Lalo na ngayon, ito, November, di ba?
Mm-mm.
Onwards. At tinamaan ng bagyo
Bagyo.
Calabarzon, yung norte, tumaas yung presyo. Kaya parang, what?
Okay.
How do you do that? Diba? There are people who actually make the market. Eh. That's the reason why you said, we need to get all these buyers to say, let's go on contract. Diba? Yun yung reason. So let's go on contract. Farmers assure you of reasonable, stable prices, pero give them the assurance that you will buy the goods. Diba?
Okay.
Para at least, diba, medyo stable yung ating palitan. The ecosystem will rely on each other naman. Eh.
So Henry, I think you painted a clear picture, no, for our viewers of like what's happening in like for especially for these farmers, no, and the whole ecosystem actually,
Right.
and
Yeah.
why prices are up, why prices pala are down in some areas. So like what does the tech component of AgroDigital really AgroDigital PH do, no? I mean I know you mentioned like farm management, no? So what does that actually mean? And you mentioned like communication and even like planning. So how does it work?
Okay. Yeah. So everything starts by aggregating demand. No? Ngayon kasi, one farmer, isa lang demand. Pero what happens if we collate everything into a funnel and say, all right, these are the things that we need to produce. So you aggregate the demand, you also aggregate production, and then make them match. Di ba?
Mm,
Um, if there's a concept in inventory management that's just-in-time inventory, di ba?
yes.
We want that. Kasi perishable yung goods eh, di ba?
Yes.
So what Agro-Digital does is it comes up with the usual storefront rin namin. Kaya lang it's really more of business to business. We're for processors, supermarkets, yung bultuhan kung kumuha ng goods, no? Don't want to play in the retail space because that's a very crowded area. No, we have a lot of friends who are in the retail space. I will give them that, di ba?
Oo, marami na kasi.
Marami
Like, as a consumer, I can go to like different
Exactly.
platforms.
Yeah, it's just mind-boggling the number of retailers. Ang request ko, sa amin na lang kayo kumuha.
So,
Distribution, di
oo,
ba?
tama.
So
That's
we're basically your back end, di ba? So if let's say you need highland vegetables, lowland veggies, you have eggs, you have fish, you have processed goods. We can
yeah.
do that eh kasi each of the cooperatives who actually are organized focus on a set of products, di ba? So ang ginagawa namin, minamatch namin siya. So there's a matching engine in the storefront. We match them to the producers, di ba? And then pag sabi niya, on contract, I want let's say 20 tons of kalabasa every week, no? Hindi naman kaya yan i-produce ng smallholder farmer eh. Usually they'll have maybe enough for 2 tons, 2 to 4 tons, and that's it, diba? So
Yes.
that's where the production management piece of AgroDigital comes in. So in a cooperative or in a group, we'll match, sino yung magaling magkalabasa? Farmer A, B, C, and D. O ilan yung kailangan nila, kaya nila i-produce. Ayan. So basically, you have a tracker in the technology and says, all right, it's 20 and it's 20 tons. So nandun yung pag-estimate nila, there also serves as their diary, no?
Yeah.
Kasi farmers do not, actually me included, I hate logging in my expenses.
Yeah.
Ang puso yung expenses. Pero, di ba, pag sales, sige, sulat ko, di ba? That's
Yes.
inspired. Pero having said that, we need to teach our farmers to understand what's the cost of their goods, di ba, per kilogram.
Yeah.
And the platform actually, we have a handheld production management na application. Diary na nila yan. Kapag nag-off yung initial estimate, the system actually adjusts until it actually gets the actuals. And then you divide it by the cost, di ba?
Yeah.
Sabihin mo, sige, di ganyan yung cost ng vegetable natin. Example, we have our farming cluster in Nasugbu. If it's half a ton every week of ampalaya, no, the cost is actually 17 pesos. Biro mo
Wow.
yun, 17, di ba? Imagine, you know, how much an ampalaya is at this point. Maybe about 1 or 2 weeks back. Alam ko magkano?
Magkano?
225 pesos.
Wow, ang laki ng
Ang laki ng difference.
difference.
So
Oo.
sabihin mo, kahit sabihin mo nahirapan sila mag-produce because maulan, ganyan,
Oo.
17 times 5 is still less than 100 pesos.
Yes,
Tama ba?
true.
Tama, less, di ba? So kahit
Oo.
benta mo ng 110 yan,
Yeah.
120, you still have a decent margin di ba? So
Mhm.
ibang klase talaga. The market dynamics is really different in agri. No? Hindi siya parang, what's the price of toothpaste, di ba? Or, di ba,
Hindi
fast-moving
gano'n, ah.
consumer goods, hindi ganun. Ito talaga, you really have a lot of players it's a complex system, really.
Yeah.
And we try to simplify it in AgroDigital PH. It's it's kind of crazy actually, di ba? Parang it's a change
Yeah,
monster, di
it's
ba?
ano, it's really
Oh,
complicated now that you
oh,
mentioned it, no? And I'm
oh,
sure yung mga viewers parang, "Ay, oh no, ganun pala." Like
ganun
there
siya,
are
oo.
different players in this ecosystem and you're sort of like controlling. It's like a game, no? Parang kino-control mo like
Sige.
trying to get like all of
Oh,
the data for the demand and also matching with
exactly.
the supply, parang gano'n, no?
Ganun, oo. Actually, the play really is really on the transaction. Kasi this is a very manual system. There's nothing that's digital. Diba? So what we're saying is, farmers, please go move to digital. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they are the ones personally going to digital. Eh. In fact, we ask their nephews, their nieces,
Mm-mm.
their sons, daughters to be the one logging into the system, into our platform. Kasi
Oh,
alam namin, mga farmers talagang gusto lang talaga magtanim eh. Pero
yeah,
yung next generation, the younger ones, was easier to well, teach, ba?
teach. Yeah.
Exactly, teach. So ang experience namin, we have a youth volunteer in one of our communities, tapos minamatch namin sa mga farmers.
Oh,
Oo,
nice.
sila nang log in, ano yung tinanim, ano yung mag-ano ng costing. It's really a community effort, no? And it's really one community at a time. Kasi
Yeah, ang
ano siya
galing.
talagang kaya mahirap rin yung adoption. Pero
Yeah.
having said that, as soon as yung meron kami mga model cooperatives, they can rake in millions, no? So like for instance, I have this group of consortium of 3 cooperatives, no?
Mm.
They started sending food to Metro Manila from mid-March to around June of this year, no? During yung
Mm.
PCQ, di ba? Yeah, well,
Yeah.
enhanced
Oh,
quarantine, di ba?
yeah. Mm.
Biro mo yan, ah. So because we use the system, we were able to actually collect 420 tons of food.
Oh, wow.
Exactly, and that's
That's a lot.
equivalent to 16 million, well, roughly 16 million pesos
Mm.
over that period. So talagang alam mo kailangan lang talagang ayusin, di ba? Talagang
Mm.
magtulong-tulong siya. And then we can bring the money in. We can rake the money in. And that's our prime example of how farmers can work together to really get money, di ba? And this is actually money, vegetables and produce sold at a proper levels. Hindi namin we made sure na kahit alam scarce yung supply,
Mm.
sabi namin, have a conscience, sabi ko sa kanila. Kasi
Mm.
um, in like fashion that you don't want your kamatis or your kamatis or your ampalaya to be sold at 5 or 10 pesos,
Mm.
you cannot push your customers to buy your goods at 200 pesos, di ba?
Yeah,
Kasi
exactly.
di ba?
Totoo.
I mean, where's the
Yeah.
fairness in that, di ba? So sabi
Oo.
namin, you have a tight band, you take a look at your cost, put in a margin, a decent one, 20-25%, di ba? And then
Mm.
be happy with it, di ba? And have stable income every week. So actually, it worked naman, no? And it's really more of encouraging our cooperatives to really view things in a different light. Kasi they have very established
Yeah.
you know, ways already.
So yeah, you mentioned no, ang daming challenges, Henry, no, like teaching like digital to the non-digital crowd.
Yeah.
Like farmers, hindi naman sila talaga techie, no. In terms of like, ano, yung gadgets, paano yon? Like, do they have their own gadgets? Do you provide gadgets for them?
Okay. So, as far as gadgets are concerned, you should get cooperatives and associations. They can pool their resources to buy
Mm,
the gadgets. Kasi
okay.
we're really just a software platform, really, no, at this point
Mm,
in time. But we do have, we're thinking of venturing in that space, no,
okay.
provide them with the gadgets themselves, no.
Okay.
Kaya lang, syempre, kailangan it has to be cost effective and actually has to make sense. Kailangan unang-una kailangan na may internet coverage on where they are. Eh.
Yes,
So
yes,
we're still,
that's
we're
true.
still trying to wrestle with that na kung bigyan ba natin o hindi, di ba?
Yeah, I can just imagine because these are remote places where
These
internet
are remote
connection is
places.
not that stable, no? So
Exactly.
what are your plans, Henry? Ang dami mo nang na-mention in terms of like what you're doing, and you mentioned also the challenges na talagang one by one that you need to talk to each cooperative, and some farmers even, and youth, no, and youth volunteers one by one. But like where do you want to take this, and what are your plans this 2021? And siguro to add to that, since we're talking about plans, like you mentioned also what happened naman during the pandemic. It's just about organizing. But do you have like insights to what will happen in 2021 in this space?
Okay. So yung what would happen in this space muna, no? Kasi that's where we get our forecast and what we need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's still extreme focus on food production. No? In fact, it's great that we see that there's a lot of great programs from the Department of Agriculture just to really spur production.
Mm-hmm.
Diba?
Yeah.
Pag there's assurance that people have something to eat, and they
Yeah.
can buy it at a reasonable amount, yeah, reasonable amount, then you stabilize things, diba? You
Yes.
don't sow, panic and that, diba? And everything that's negative. So my fearless forecast is they will continue to actually focus really on agri production. The question really is, um yung kumbaga, does the income actually trickle down to the smallest landholder farmer? It's really that, eh. Kasi the way we see things, it's still the large farms and large cooperatives who already have money. Ganun talaga, di ba? That's how capitalism is, eh. You have money, then you can gain more money. If you have no capital, then sorry ka na lang, di ba?
Mm-hmm.
Di ba? So, it's really more of how do we actually get involve these smallholder farmers and get them a decent piece, a fair piece of the pie, di ba? Um, but the thing is, it's also, sabi nga namin, we cannot target everybody, di ba?
Mm-hmm.
Meron muna yung small percentage of farmers who are sick and tired of the system or have open or broad minds and say, I want to do something that's different.
Yeah.
That's where we're after, who these guys are after. So in that case, once we get them to be part of the new system, then baka everybody just jumps in and say, yeah, I want to have a piece of the attraction, so to speak. Um, as far as AgroDigital is concerned naman, we are obviously continuing our adoption efforts. No, we are trying to, um, well, create our networks. No, so currently we're focusing more on Calabarzon, and we recently uh, into Region 1. No, bakit, di ba? We want to make sure that we have resilient supply. So we realized itong nakaraan na tatlong bagyo that dumaan sa,
Yes.
'di
Oh.
ba, sa Calabarzon,
Sunod-sunod.
wiped out our supplies. 'Di ba?
Yes.
Exactly. Pagkatapos, 'di ba? So sobrang mahal ng pagkain sa Calabarzon, especially vegetables, no. So sabi namin, although we were starting already with Region 1, sabi na magandang backup, 'di ba? If a typhoon happens or something happens to our supply in Calabarzon, then we can get it off from Region 1 or even Region 3. Parang
Yes.
triangle
Para
'yan, eh, 'di ba?
ano mo. Yes.
Triangle 'yan, oo. So at least meron kaming para maging resilient, 'di ba? Because when we tell our clients that we will provide quality and the right volumes, we mean that, 'di ba? Kasi yun na yung trust, that's a trust equation, no? And key to these digital systems is really trust. 'Di ba? Parang digital
Mm-hmm.
currency that nobody's gonna renege on their promises, 'di ba?
True.
So it's really more of that. So we continue to add more and more cooperatives. We are very involved with the local governments, no? When they
Nice.
see that this is an alternate way of selling, then their eyes bright up,
Mm-hmm.
May meron kaming kausap sa norte. Sabi niya, alam mo, meron kami dito sa town namin na cold storage, no? Oh, grabe, di ba? Sabi niya, cold storage, and
Cold
this
store.
exactly. Sabi ko, sige, gamitin natin kasi it's a way to actually aggregate everything, no?
Store.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
para mapuno yung truck, para mas efficient siya before we send it elsewhere.
Oo.
No? So it's really more of the same thing, but really adoption is really key for 2021. We feel that a lot more people know about us compared to this year,
Mm.
no? Mas medyo sikat naman kami ng konti, and in
Nice.
agri circles, um yeah, they're oh, ano yung agro-digital? Oh, yan yung parang digital thing. So, they don't understand what it is yet, but if they raise their hands, di ba, and say, I want to know more. So, yan. So, yun yung aming entrada na yan. So, siguro it's really more of, replicating me and my co-founder, Ken. No?
Oo, dalawa lang kayo eh.
Dalawa lang dalawa. And a lot of friends, actually. We have a lot of friends who help out.
That's
But really, we need somebody na kailangan medyo regular para to enlarge our scope, our
so
ability.
Yeah. So for people who are watching this, like what help do you need? Like if there are farmers who are watching or even like co-ops who are watching, like do you need them? Do you need what
Yes.
help do you need? Yeah. So maybe you can
Uh,
shout out like some stuff or yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We would like to appeal to to smallholder farmers or organized ones, especially even if you're associations or cooperatives, to give us a buzz. And if you don't know, then we will let you know, no,
Mhm.
what it is all about. In fact, we are actually translating our materials to the local vernacular, no.
Oh,
So,
nice. Oo.
oo, kasi hindi naman lahat ng
Kailangan.
tao kailangan, di ba? Ang material namin nag-start lahat English, di ba? Doesn't make
Oo.
sense. Di ba?
Yun
So,
nga eh.
tinagalog namin, gawin na namin, let's say in this case, in Region 1, we're currently
Ilocano.
translating it into Ilocano,
Ilocano.
di ba? Kasi
Oo.
kailangan eh, di ba? Sabihin lang, marami hindi naniniwala, kaya nilang maging digital. Sa ko, hindi. It's a matter of being patient about it, di ba?
Yeah.
Ayun. So, if you're a cooperative or an association who's actually sick and tired of the way, the way things are sold, di ba? Yung
Mm.
pagkakalakal. Please let us know, di ba? Just raise your hand, ayan, and say, I want to know more, di ba? Ayun, pwede naman namin tayong kausapin eh. It just takes 30 minutes. If you know it's for you, then in 30 minutes time, you're convinced we want to go and move to the next step. If not, that's fine.
Yeah. So we will
Okay naman
send
yan, di ba? Baka hindi lang
yes.
ano siya.
Yes, yes. So we will send the email or we will put the email or the link na lang to your site.
The link na lang to our
Yeah,
site,
so
yes.
that you can reach out to them. How about
That's
the
right.
end users or like the wholesalers? You need most of you
Yes, we also do. So dual market kami, and
mm,
obviously we want our institutional buyers to really buy at bulk directly from from our farmers,
mm,
from our farmer organizations. It's a matter of helping us forecast what they need. Kasi nga dapat just in time eh. Di
yeah.
ba? It doesn't make sense na mag-overproduce kami or underproduce, then we miss opportunities or we have a lot of wastage. Di
Yeah.
ba? So for institutional buyers to consider forecasting their consumption, di ba? Doesn't have
Mm,
to be 100% eh. Sabi namin sa mga ibang customers namin, just forecast for 40% and give
yeah.
that 40% to us. Sigurado naman, hindi mo siguro babagsak below 40 yung di ba?
Oh, yes.
Kalahati, oo, di ba? So, give us the 40%, try us out for, let's say, one season, which is maybe anywhere between 45 to 65 days. And then let's see how it goes, di ba? If you feel that's the
Yeah.
way to go, di ba? Then let's go for a 1 year contract, no?
So
So,
Henry, is this like nationwide or do you have like certain areas lang that you can cater to?
currently, Luzon lang muna kami kasi ang
Luzon.
hirap mag-travel.
Okay.
Oo.
Yes.
Although having said that, we were just talking to a group of farmers in Panay. So our
Oh, okay.
first in Visayas. So
Visayas.
they were very excited with the way, that
Oh,
gusto nila mag-contract growing. Sabi nila, sige, simulan natin sa kalabasa. We have a lot of kalabasa requirements eh. So sabi
okay.
ko, oo. And then we actually send eggs, cooperative sends eggs to Panay kasi. So ang backload namin, so pagbaba ng eggs, sakay namin yung kalabasa pabalik. So it
Oh,
actually makes
wow.
logistics. Di ba?
Ang
Oo.
galing.
Ayan.
Okay. This is so interesting, no, Henry? Like every time I talk to you, I learn something new. And yes, congratulations to your new directorship, no? You want to
Ah,
share with them like what it is?
Sige. Yeah, so I'm the agribusiness representative at the National Organic Agri Board.
Mm.
No, so was nominated earlier this year and then finally passed the stringent reviews, diba?
Yes.
So what does that mean? So basically, since I am a organic farmer, no, well, a natural farmer, hindi pa kasi certified yung farm namin, so I can't claim it's organic, no,
Yeah.
by law, no.
Ikaw, yes.
Oh, I'm a natural farmer, but I really do understand that it takes a bit of commercial know-how, yung kailangan kumita ng organic farmers eh, so that they have a pace that they can actually increase production. Sabi ang criticism actually sa organic farmers is yeah, it's safe food but you cannot feed the nation. Kasi
Mm-mm.
nga small holder farmers siya eh.
I've
Very
heard that.
erratic. They don't plan what they plant. And that's they're actually the inspiration behind AgroDigital. Sabi ko, ang target ko diyan, get organic farmers to produce at scale using
Oo.
digital technology. So
That's the
yeah, that's
challenge.
exactly. That's the challenge, diba? If we can actually go and produce that much food at scale, then AgroDigital has made its mark in history,
Yes.
diba? Yun na
Oo.
yun. Yun ang goal namin talaga.
Kasi
Kaya
kaya
ayun,
mahal, 'di ba? Kaya mahal daw ang organic because it cannot produce at scale, 'di
at
ba?
scale exactly. If you can produce at scale, you can, you know, hindi dapat ang organic food hindi pang mayaman.
Oo, kasi yun yung
Oo.
perception ng maraming tao
Kaya
eh.
nga hindi puwede, 'di ba? And much of it, I mean, I understand the premium because it is much more labor intensive.
Yes.
But the current rates, 'di ba, of organic food, they don't have to be that expensive eh.
Mm.
In fact, there are times wherein we can actually compete yung pricing namin with conventional
With the usual, oo,
produce.
na
Exactly.
non-organic.
Oo. Katulad ngayon, sobrang mahal, 'di ba?
Mm.
Definitely organic food, if we try to sell that, is actually a lot more cheaper than
Oo, kasi organic parang times 5, times 6,
tama. That's right.
more. Yeah.
That's right. Oo, that's right.
Yeah. So congratulations again, Henry.
Thank you.
Siguro for my last question, no, baka
Mm.
there are other startup founders or aspiring startup founders who are in agri who want to
Mhm.
really make it big, no. What are your tips for them, no? Like based on what you've gone through.
Okay. Question, no? Pero upfront, I would say, know who your customers are. Doon naman simula ang lahat eh. At saka, what are you trying to do for them? You, yun yung always, that's always a question. And in any business, diba? Who are your customers and what are you trying to do? Kasi hindi siya ganun ka, no? Hindi siya ganun ka, upfront na, sige, ano ko na online, di ba? We try to help them by online. Alam mo, maraming realities ang farmers, no? It takes a bit of understanding where they're coming from and what they immediately need and whether they will be receptive to the technology. Unfortunately, agriculture is really lagging behind sa digital journey eh. Talagang, ano yan, tag dito, natrap yan ng digital divide. Diba? So if you're going to come up with something, siguro, I don't know, maybe if you could figure out how to cheaply provide internet access to our farmers. that's
Yeah.
very ano, that's very basic, 'di ba?
Mm.
Na hindi nag-rely sa telco. I mean, the telcos have their own challenges eh. But if you want something that's a bit challenging, ayan, bigyan mo sila ng connectivity,
Mm.
no? Ayun, yung mga ganun. But again, know your customer. That's the first thing that you have to ask yourself. So,
Yeah. Ano 'no, na-realize ko talaga parang ang daming challenges talaga when it comes to agri. But it's not because of like for example, you were saying na medyo behind in terms of digital technology or using
mm,
technology. But
mm,
it's basically siguro because we are a big country. Siyempre 12th largest in the world and we're
yeah,
divided, 'di ba? It's not
that's
like
right.
one whole island tayo. Ang dami nating island. So even like getting logistics is a challenge. Alam mo
Yeah,
yon, like
yeah,
different climates in different parts or 'di ba? I mean not climates but different temperatures. Tama ba
that's right.
yon? In different areas is
That's
a
right.
factor. And yes, and
Uh,
also internet connection is a factor.
that's
Tapos
right.
different landforms is a factor. So parang 'di ba? Ang
E-
daming
Everything is
different.
stacked against the farmer, eh, di ba?
Oo, kasi ang daming
Uh,
iba-iba talaga eh. Like, one region, and even sa region pa lang, marami na nga iba-iba. Kahit na
that's right.
city or municipality yan, iba-iba pa rin yung like, how things are and behavior.
Oh,
So, it's
that's
really,
right.
ang ganda ng sinabi mo that you need to get to know your customer talaga. Kasi,
That's right.
what will work in one area or one region may not even work in other regions, diba? So
Exactly.
you
Correct.
have to adapt and you have to change strategy talaga.
That's right. Correct.
Yun. So
I completely agree. Yeah.
yeah, I love it. I love it. Thank you, Henry. So what is your site? Maybe you can share with them your site and your social media account so they can check you out.
Yeah. So it's just agro-digitalph.com.
Mhm.
And then you can search us in Facebook. And nandun naman lahat ng updates eh. So,
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Henry, for agreeing to do this interview. I wish you luck in
thank
your
you. Thank you.
business. All
Salamat.
right. There. So, thank you sa lahat ng mga nanood. So, thank you sa ating mga viewers today. If you like this video, click on like, share, subscribe, and click on that notification bell for more videos like this. I hope marami kayong natutunan about our agricultural industry, no? Or the agricultural businesses, diba? And the ecosystem. And, of course, AgroDigital PH. So, again, this is Ginger. Have a great day. Bye.